Hello, 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 everybody. This is Ebony, and I am coming to you once again from Triple G Living, God Goals and Grind. I hope that you guys are having an amazing day. Listen, I promise that I am not going to be before you long, but I just wanted to talk about something that I thought about this morning. Oftentimes, we tend to rate ourselves in terms of how well we think we're doing. And oftentimes, when we're rating ourselves, we are comparing ourselves to what other people are doing. And we, maybe looking at ourselves externally and judging by how far other people are, and we determine how far we should be based upon based upon someone else. And today I just wanted to stop by just to encourage you to remember that only God is the standard for our lives. And regardless of how lofty our goals are, regardless of how far and wide we believe that our dreams are from where we are now, please understand that God is invested in seeing the assignment, the purpose, and the plan for your life manifested. There is a covenant right that we have as believers that our Father has promised us to complete as it relates to what He started in us. So, whatever you are formed for, whatever you are created for, that one, the Creator who made you, He is so invested in you, and He has a desire to see His return on investment. How did I get from there to there? But yeah, that's what I'm saying. God is so committed and invested in our lives. And so when we look at other people and we see how far they are, and we look at ourselves, understand that only God is the standard. And also understand that wherever you are right now, you have to think about, is it a direct result of what you have limited in your life, right? Or is it because maybe it's not the season or the time? I want you to really think about it, because sometimes we look at our lives, as I said earlier, and we look at the lives of other people and we say things like, I should have been so much further along, and I expected that by the time I was 40 or by the time I was 30, I would have this, I would have that. And I talk to so many people in this very, talking about this very thing. And I always say, could it just be that wherever you thought you would be, either that is not in line with your choices and your decisions? Or could that be that that's not the plan of God? Whatever it is, it's important for us to understand that we need to look inward and consult with God, and not allow external factors and people to be our standard. Okay. So I just want to, for those of you who are watching this, I just want to challenge you just for a minute. And I want you to begin to rate yourself. Okay. Now, when I say rate yourself, I'm going to give you this acronym, and then I want you to really think about where you are as it relates to this. So when I say rate, the first thing I want to ask you is, how resilient are you? How is your ability to bounce back? Do you bounce back quickly? Or do you often get stuck when trouble occurs, when things become difficult, when you feel as though you failed, when other people has disappointed you, when you are offended, when you are in your feelings? Are you able to bounce back? Or do you have a tendency to remain stuck? Now, remaining stuck can be a physical position, it could be a mindset, or it can be an emotional impairment. But I really want you to think about it. Are you resilient? The second thing that I want you to ask yourself is, are you amenable? Okay, what do I mean by amenable? How flexible are you? How willing? What is your willingness to change look like? What is your willingness to go back to the drawing board and re-strategize and reevaluate like? Or do you or are you that person that becomes paralyzed when things don't go as you would expect them to go? Or maybe you had an idea in mind of how your life should be, or the things around you, what you should have, and and because it doesn't look like that, are you amenable enough to go back to God and figure this thing out? Or are you that person that gets stuck and paralyzed because life isn't looking the way you want it to look, and so now you're not moving forward and you're not progressing? Is that you? We're talking about rating yourself, and I want you to do this. And here's the thing: only you can rate yourself. Only you and God. And I started off by saying there is no other standard but you and God. And so we can't look at what other people are doing, and we can't measure ourselves according to them. But I'm challenging you right now to rate yourself, okay? How resilient are you? How amenable are you? How, resilient means to bounce back. It takes a level of you being able to pick yourself up and dust yourself off and start that thing over again. How resilient are you? How amenable are you? How flexible? How willing are you to change plans? What does your willingness look like as it relates to when things don't go the way you planned? Okay. The T I want you to really think about is, how thick-skinned are you? Are you sensitive? Is it easy for you to break under pressure? Are you really able to endure and get through the difficult times in life and the disappointing situations and those things in our lives that come and strike a tremendous blow? How thick-skinned are you? Are you sensitive? Are you amenable to offense? Do you live as do you live for the validation and the opinions of others, or are you vested in the opinion that God has of you? I want you to really think about it. I'm challenging you. And even as even as I am sending this and I am saying this to you, I rate myself all the time. Because the reality is, at the end of the day, when I wake up in the morning, I have to be able to be happy with what I'm waking up to. I have to be able to be happy with the life that I have chosen. And so I rate myself all the time, and I don't need another man to do it. And I'm challenging you to allow God, you and God, to be the standard. And I want you to be willing to rate yourself. So we talked about being resilient. How resilient are you? We talked about being amenable. How flexible are you? What is your willingness to change or to re-strategize looks like? How thick-skinned are you? Are you easily offended? Are you tremendously sensitive? Do you wear your feelings on your shoulder? Are you guided and led by your heart and not your head? I want you to think about it. And then when you think about E, how effective are you? Whatever you're doing in your life right now, is it effective? Is it efficient? Is there a better way that it can be done? Are you vested in improvement and growth and development spiritually, personally, or professionally? Or are you stuck? How effective are you right now? When you rate yourself and when you look at your life right now, this minute, as you listen to this message, how effective are you? And as you rate yourself, I want you today to be encouraged and to know that God is so invested in who you are and in what you are. He has created you for a purpose, and his desire is to see his gift poured out in the earth. And so I compel you and I challenge you to rate yourself. And then I want you to get into the presence of the Lord and allow him to minister to you and allow him to strengthen you. As you rate yourself, remember in the word of God, there is a prescription for every single rating that you've given yourself. There is a prescription for that rating. Remember, the word of God talks about how better is the ending of a thing than the beginning. It also talks about how he will never leave us. He will never leave us. You know, and the thing that I love about God, and I can't say this enough, is is what he says in his word when he says, he who has begun a good work in you and in me will continue it. Right? He will continue the work that he has started in us until he returns. And so I encourage you today to rate yourself, get into the presence of God, and allow him to minister to you, allow him to strengthen you, allow him to really empower you to be the man of God that he's ordained for you to be, and to become the woman of God that he's ordained for you to be. Before I get off this, before I get off this post, I'm going to say it again. The Lord is invested in you, and he desires to see a return on his investment. And the way that there is a return on his investment is when we begin to allow ourselves to walk in the purpose, the plan, and the power that he is only designed for you and I. I hope this message has encouraged you guys. Have an amazing day.